Hello there, and welcome to this episode of the Star Wars Youniverse podcast. I'm your host, James, and this month we are looking ahead at Maul, Shadow Lord. Not in the usual way we look ahead. I am looking at, specifically, this month, how to prepare for Maul, Shadow Lord. I'm going to look at his main appearances in both canon and Legends, and whether I've either read them or consumed the media in some form or fashion, if I would recommend it, and if I wouldn't. So, if you're interested to know more about Maul, who is a fascinating character, I'm not going to do a personality deep dive or a character deep dive. He's a very complex character. And I think the best thing to do, realistically, is have a look at his Legends appearances so far and judge for yourself. He's a beloved character at this point in time. And for what ends up being the main villain, who has, I think, about 12 minutes of screen time and 3 lines of dialogue in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. What they've managed to do with him and expand him into so much more of the universe is, frankly, quite incredible. So we're going to look at that. We're going to have a little talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu, and then we're going to look at what I've done the last month in Star Wars and also what you guys have done in the last month in Star Wars. So if that all sounds like something you'd be interested in and you want to contribute yourself for next month's episode, don't forget, follow along on whatever podcatcher you're listening to this on or on YouTube. It's available on both. Hit follow, hit subscribe, whatever it's called. Don't forget to leave a review and feel free to leave a comment wherever you can. So without further ado, let's jump right into what is, I believe, canonologically, if that's even a word, his first appearance in the timeline of Star Wars is something, if you've listened to me in the past, you'll know I'm not a particular fan of the general series, but this particular one is my favourite, and that is Black, White, and Red comic book. It just works with Maul. I didn't particularly like the Vader run, which was the first one. Don't particularly like the Boba Fett one, which is the current run, but the middle one, Maul, it was a good story. The artwork really, really popped with Maul because he is just black and red. It was just fantastic. He makes an appearance in The Living Force, which is a novel by John Jackson Miller. And the book itself is fantastic. It has ties to the High Republic, it has ties to what is coming for the Jedi in the lead up to episode 1. And it's just a really, really good book. He's in the Age of Republic comic book. He has his own one shot in that, which is just a series of one shots about different characters in sort of the what they refer to as the peak of the Republic. It's not, it's the beginning of the end. Really, really good one shot. I have read this one. It's very, very good. He makes an appearance in Queen's Peril. I don't know what this appearance is. I don't know if it's a large or small role. I haven't read Queen's Peril. It's part of the Queen Amidala trilogy, which I believe is a young adult novel. But I've heard good things about them. I haven't got round to them yet, mainly because the third one isn't available as an audiobook. Obviously, we then get to his appearance in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Fantastic appearance, brilliant introduction of a character, and certainly at the time held the crown for, in my view, best lightsaber duel in the saga at that point in time. We then leap forward to season 3 of the Clone Wars, maybe to the very end of season 2 as well. Can't really remember. Season 3 of the Clone Wars onwards, Maul is reintroduced. It's shown that he is alive and is he's living on a trash planet with a giant spider body. It's weird. It gets really weird. But he gets some legs, courtesy of the Night Sisters of Dathomir, Mother Towson specifically, recruits his brother, Savage Opress, and goes on a bit of a tear and ends up in a lightsaber duel with Darth Sidious, his former master, and it culminates in season 7 on the Siege of Mandalore. Fantastic. Fantastic arc. All of the arcs, really. all the way through that involve Maul. I think this is the introduction of Sam Witwer as his voice, who is obviously voicing Maul in Maul Shadow Lord, and just a fantastic delve into the character's psychology and what he is struggling with, which really is to just find a place at that point in time. We then leap over to Son of Dathomir, which is a comic book. I think it's a four-issue comic book. And I will actually be reviewing this on the Spark Jedi Council in the lead up to the release of Darth Maul Shadow Lord. So this one is actually going to be completely new for me. I haven't read this comic arc before, and I'm really, really looking forward to reading it. I've been meaning to read it for a while. But again, if you've been listening to me in the past, my comic reading goes a little bit in and out, shall we say. He makes a very brief appearance in the Solo film, which may be a spoiler, so apologies if you haven't seen the Solo film. It's been out a while, so I feel there is a statute of limitations on spoilers at this point in time. He was portrayed, I believe, by Ray Park again, who plays him in episode one, Phantom Menace, and also did the motion capture for his season 7 of the Clone Wars appearances in, or certainly the fight with Ahsoka. So it's really cool that we're bringing the actors back as well. We then have a small timeline jump through to Rebels, season 2 finale. Maul is reintroduced into the Star Wars universe. Twilight of the Apprentice, hands down some of the best animated Star Wars I've ever seen. I think it's absolutely phenomenal two-parter. It's just really, really good to see him back. He's a lot more calm and methodical than I think we see him at any other point, but he's always skirting the edge of madness. Ever since his reintroduction in season 3 of the Clone Wars, he is walking that tightrope between sane and insane, and it's brilliantly, brilliantly done. And that actually leads up to his demise, which I won't spoil. It is very good. It's one of the shortest lightsaber battles you'll ever see, but the psychology of it is absolutely out of this world. And there's been a video circling around online for many years at this point of Sam Witwer outlining what went into the thought process and the entire duel itself, which, as I say, lasts seconds. But that's the end of Maul on this mortal coil in canon, at the very least. Legends wise, he makes a lot of different appearances. They did all sorts of comics and little appearances and things like that. But there's really only three appearances which matter in terms of Maul's Shadow Lord. In my opinion, they are his appearance in the Plagueis novel, which I was interested to note that Wikipedia, which is where I got this information from, has the Plagueis novel down as Legends. I still think it is canon adjacent. I think it is in that weird grey area in the middle of nothing has really contradicted it so far. And so it's such a good book. People largely consider it canon. And he's also in a book called Shadowhunter, which is definitely Legends, but a very good book. And he's also in a book solely focused on him. Both Shadowhunter and this one, Lockdown, are both solely focused on Maul. Shadowhunter, he is hunting the Black Sun crime syndicate, and Lockdown, he is literally locked inside a prison on a mission and told not to use the Force and doesn't have his lightsaber with him. I listened to this book over the last month and thought it was absolutely fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it. I'll go into a bit more detail later on when I do the roundup of what I've been up to this last month in Star Wars. So that, for me, is everything you could consume. There is more. Of course, there's more. There's always more. There's all these indirect and direct mentions of Maul throughout the universe. He had such a key role in bringing the Sith to the Jedi's attention again. They debated it in episode one. Was he the master or was he the apprentice? It's the Sith have been extinct for a millennia. He has such a pivotal role in the trajectory of the Star Wars universe. And again, he was such a small part of the film. He was the big bad, but he was the big bad that they saw. He was the face of it. But in actual fact, it was Sidious in the background pulling the strings, which something that he was exceedingly good at. But yeah, if I just wanted to put this list out there for anyone who might want to go on a Maul binge before Maul Shadow Lord comes out on April the 6th on Disney Plus. If you do go on a Maul binge, let me know. Let me know how you get on. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Let's have a conversation. I really enjoy it. So, looking at the Mandalorian on Grogu trailer, this trailer has really, really got me hyped for this film. We start off with a what can only be described as an absolutely beautiful shot of X-wings in front of a setting sun in formation. It is absolutely incredible. We have so many different cameos, so many different moments in this. We still don't really know what the story is. We can tell he's looking for Jabba's son, but some of the cameos we get the twins, we get Sigourney Weaver's character, we get Zeb, and we actually hear him speak. And I believe they've also got the voice actor back from Rebels, which again goes back to my point. I really like that they're bringing people back to do this stuff, and the people are actually willing to do it. That's huge. We have Grogu with his Mudhorn medallion on as his armor. I imagine he's got the chainmail on underneath as well. We see a lot more of Grogu being mobile in this. He's on his own. He's not being carried. I'm sure he will be carried for quite a bit of the movie. We do see him commandeer Pram at one point, which is pretty cool to escape from whatever situation they're in. It looks like it's probably the escape from the fighting pit. We see Mando versus Jabba's son, whose name is completely escaping me at the moment, so apologies. I'm just going to refer to him as Jabba's son. It just looks really good. There's some really cool moments where Mando's entering into what is quite clearly an Imperial facility, spraying the floor with his flamethrower before taking out the guards in quick, ruthless fashion. We then see Embo and Embo's dog, again, whose name is completely escaping me. Drop me an email. Let me know what these characters' names are called, because I cannot remember them for the life of me at the moment. Embo is going to be an interesting plot device. He was always known to be sort of a bounty hunter, but had a bit of a code. He always liked to sort of lean towards the good side. He was never an out and out baddie. He had a bit of a conscience. So I don't know how he's going to be in this. I just can't quite figure it out yet. I could do with another trailer, which hopefully we'll get. The film comes out on May 22nd, so we've got time. We see Grogu uh, with a stick, a walking stick, or a staff, which could later he could grow into. It's a bit of a Gandalf size staff at this point in time for him. Hopefully, it could potentially end up similar to Yoda's walking stick. But we see him meditating on this forest planet, which has got me really excited. This could either be Kashyyyk or it could be Dagobah. And I don't think we've ever seen Dagobah in the daytime. So we could see that. We see a deck of cards, like a wanted deck of cards. And I've seen various people say this. If Disney don't release this deck of cards as merchandise, they're missing a trick. Overall, it's not a long trailer. I think it's like a minute and a half, but it's really, really good. And there was a lot of backlash from the Super Bowl TV spot. I didn't mind it. I just didn't mind the TV spot at the Super Bowl. But overall, a really, really good trailer. It's got me a lot more hyped for the film, even though I don't know what it's about. That's good storytelling. It's good visuals as well. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And that's really all I have to say about the trailer at the moment. I'm just patiently waiting for some more news to come out, maybe some toy spoilers to give me a bit more of an idea as to who people are, what the plot is going to be. I need a plot centric trailer. We need to see roughly what the story is going to be. It's kind of alluded to that he's going to be hunting Imperials. We see a form of Shadow Council. I don't know if it is the official Shadow Council. It's certainly one of the characters from the Shadow Council we saw in Mando. So there's always a chance of Pelion, who was part of that council. There's potential for Moff Gideon popping back up. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm the hype is building. It is really, really building. I'm really, really excited about it. In terms of other news that's come out this last month, Rogue One is 10 years old. I can't believe that. That makes me feel really old. But off the back of it, they are releasing a series of one-shot comics focusing on one or two characters in some instances, which is going to start in May, and it's going to focus on Cassian, which they've got a really small window between the end of Andor and the beginning of Rogue One. So unless they go back and tell a story that was in one of the year-long gaps that we had in Andor season two, it's that's going to be a pretty short comic. But I think in a one shot, it's probably the best option. You don't want to start getting into a long mission or story. But the other issues are going to center on Jyn Erso, Saw Gerrera, a double header of Chirrut and Baze, and then it's going to finish on Vader. Again, a very small window for Vader. His story has been told and told and told in canon, and I think we're going to really struggle to find any more gaps in that time frame for Vader. So I think this might be what he's doing during Rogue One, which could be cool. I'll read it. Vader comics in canon have been pretty solid the whole way through, with the exception of the black, white, and red. Not everything's a hit. There were the odd issues that were not great, but overall, as a comic run, if it's got Vader in it, I'm going to at least give it a go. That's really cool. That's a big bit of news coming out of the comic side of things. The other big news that I could find is that Galaxy's Edge is updating. I say updating, it's going back in time inside the Star Wars galaxy. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Galaxy's Edge is the part of Disney World in California, which is just dedicated to Star Wars, and they've made it its own place. It's Black Spire Outpost on Batu, and it's always been set in the sequel trilogy era. So there you've got the Resistance, you've got the First Order, and they've kind of focused on that. You've got Hondo wandering around, so okay, cool. We love a bit of Hondo. But also, more importantly than all of that, it's considered canon. So Hondo is alive during the sequel era, is what I take from that. But because it's canon, they've kind of backed themselves into a corner. They can't utilize the big three because they're much older and not really a part of the sequel trilogy era until they are. So you've got Leia, who's a general in the Resistance. You've got Luke, who is just not around really until the Battle of Crate. And you've got Han, who dies on Starkiller Base. You've got three characters plus Chewie. Chewie's already there because he's around during the sequel era. But you've got three characters who are just not available to see, and those three are going to be a big attraction, especially to the Star Wars fans who, let's face it, can actually afford to go to Disney World. It's going to be the parents taking the kids. You need to attract the parents as well as the kids. And Galaxy's Edge, I want to go to Galaxy's Edge because it's real life Star Wars. That's cool. You get to go and build a lightsaber. But if your selling point is the sequel trilogy, which overall is not particularly well liked by fans of the original trilogy and prequel trilogy, you're kind of missing a trick. So they're shifting it over to the original trilogy era. They already have the Millennium Falcon set up, so you're not and a whole ride dedicated to the Millennium Falcon. So you're not going to be able to go prequel. I don't know how big it is, but it would be cool to me if they could sort of break it up into eras. So you have a prequel era section, an original trilogy era section, and a sequel trilogy era section, and you can kind of move between them. I think that would be a pretty cool idea. So, turning our attention to what I've been up to this last month in Star Wars, we're going to start where we always start games. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. As always, I have unlocked Lord Vader, Galactic Legend Lord Vader. He's now up at Relic 7. The event was easy. I don't think I dropped a battle at any point. And I even did the ultimate tier when he was still like gear 12. Like, to me, that's massively underpowered for what should be his ultimate ability. On the flip side, maybe not, because you can't even activate his ultimate ability until he's in relics. So maybe you should be able to do it as you're going through that gear 12 grind. I've got him. I've used him in the player versus player mode GAC. He's fine. He's fine. I knew what I was getting myself into with him. He's not the best, but he has a purpose, and he's a little bit of a pain to deal with. So I might end up sticking him on defense. He comes in useful sometimes. I use the Dark Side Clone Troopers with him, who are a relatively new addition to the game and designed to be a Lord Vader lifter team to give him an actual proper team. So I have all them at Relic 5, so they're all together. It's fine. It's one off the list. So that only leaves me two Galactic Legends left to unlock. I have decided to go for what I call as Glow, Galactic Legend Obi-Wan. A lot of people call him JMK, Jedi Master Kenobi. And so this is the opposition to Lord Vader. They generally will release two Galactic Legends who sync with each other. So you got Jedi Master Luke, Sith Eternal Emperor, Rey, Kylo, Leia, Jabba. So I only had for JMK, Glow, whatever you want to call him, Kenobi. I only had one character who wasn't already in relics, and that was Wat Tambor, who was at level 12. So I've now bumped him up to relic 3. I need to get him up to relic 7. And outside of that, well, including him, I have 6 characters I need to unlock and level up before I can start the event. So I did take a brief break from Galactic Legend farming to up a couple of characters to relic 8 as a guild requirement for territory battle. We do what's called rote. It's the hardest one you can do, and we needed a relic 8 Boba Fett, Scion of Django, who was the conquest character. So he's now relic 8. He was already at relic 7, so it wasn't too much of a bump up. And we also needed a star killer. So I like Starkiller, and he's a very fun team to use. He was already Relic 6, so again, it was only a couple of Relic levels. So I bumped him up pretty quickly. I will say I am only 5 shards away from unlocking Ezra Exile, who is a conquest character, and we are most of the way through the 2 week period for the latest conquest. I'm currently sat at reward box 4 out of 7, I want to say. For I'm trying to unlock Satil Shan, who looks like she's going to be absolutely insane. I got 100 shards last conquest. I've done some work on my teams and chipping through stuff this time round. I don't think I'm going to get enough to unlock her in the first 3, but you continue getting some shards after that. So I should have her unlocked by the 4th conquest. So That's all on target. That's going well. We're into the Andor era for what is even the game mode called? Colosseum, newer game mode. I keep wanting to call it Conquest. It's not Conquest, it's Colosseum. And it's just more of the same. I think the thing I'm struggling with at the moment, we've only got two characters. We've got Claire and Val, neither of whom have a leader ability. So that's fun at the moment. I think they're both level 19 for me, which is tick in a box. Really, it's the beginning part of these Colosseum quests over the next couple of months is slow going. You then start to get into a bit of stride, and you just chip away a little bit more damage each day on the various different beasts that you face, and you just slowly chip away. And hopefully, by the time the third one comes in, I don't even know who the third one is. That's how, to be honest, little interest I've had in the characters coming out. Hopefully, they have a leader ability, but they might not. We'll see. I have started working on Stormtrooper Luke, who is, I believe, the only character you can actually gain shards on through farming at this point in time. Just a slow grind, just daily, daily, daily. I have also nearly finished my ship grind for Rogue One, the ship Rogue One. Once that's done, I'll be turning my attention to some of the Leviathan requirements just to sort of just nudge that along. A couple of them need Cantina energy, which is where you farm your signal data, but that's a different ball game. I think once I've done my Galactic Legend Obi-Wan, I will start those ships at that point in time. But that is enough talking about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I am here to also give you an update on Jedi Survivor. And I have not done anything. I'm joking. I'm joking. I have finally done something on Jedi Survivor. Let's all have a little celebrate. I have finally played a game that's not on a mobile. As usual, because I take my sweet time to do anything on this game, I kind of forget where I'm at. I kind of forget the controls, and it takes me a good 10-15 minutes just to figure everything out, how I do stuff. But it did depress me a little bit when I looked up I on a walkthrough, not during my playthrough, but in preparation for this podcast. I looked up where I was at just to see what I'd done. And of like 8 chapters, I've just finished chapter 2. I've got a ways to go. I have just finished the planet Cova, which has got the forest array in it, where you meet Dagon Gera, see him bleed his kyber crystal. Very, very cool scene. You also have to battle him. A couple of different phases to that battle. It wasn't difficult, but I'll be honest with you, I don't have the difficulty set up that high. I play the game for the story, not the challenge of playing a game. I just want to know what the story is. So I got through all of that, got pretty much the whole way through the forest, and then the Imperial facility at the end of it into Dagon Gera's base where he's being held in Bacta and has been for a couple of 100 years because he is from the High Republic. We learned some more about Tanna law, and we now need to make our way to Jeddah. So I am currently on the Stinger Mantis, about to set off for Jeddah, and hopefully we're going to find Seer soon. I think it's one of Seer's contacts in the first instance, and then maybe Seer will come into it after that. I'm looking forward to meeting up with Merrin again as well. I liked Merrin in Fallen Order. Really, really cool character. It's building. We've got Grease back, which is cool. Obviously, BD1 is just the best droid. He's so cool. I love BD1. But that does it for games. Very, very quickly looking at comics. Haven't read any that I can think of this month. I may have read some. I don't remember. If I have, I'll update you next month because I'll need to check my Kindle account, which has been playing up recently, going into books and also staying on comics slightly, reading material. We'll call it that. We'll group it all together. I've had an issue trying to download Jar Jar issue one onto my tablet. Don't know why. Not a clue. But I've also had it a couple of times now where I am, however far through an Audible book, and it will just reset me back to the opening credits. That's not what I want. I don't pay enough attention to where I'm at in the book to know where I'm at in the book. So I then have to spend a few minutes figuring out, have I listened to this bit? Do I even recognize this bit? What's going on? Yeah, it happened during Maul lockdown. I got about two-thirds of the way through the book and it just completely reset me. And I ended up re-listening to probably about an hour of the book. Just the way it is. It was annoying, but yeah, as I say, I read Maul Lockdown. Really, really good. Maul stuck in a prison, not allowed to use the Force under instruction from Sidious, without a lightsaber, and having to fight for his life to survive, with a mission to find a arms dealer to get a nuclear weapon. That doesn't feel like it fits in Star Wars, in my opinion, but everything around it was pretty cool. I really, really enjoyed it. It really showcased Maul's cunning and intelligence and fighting ability without the Force. That was insane. Really, really good book. It is Legends, but I'd really, really recommend it if you just want a really cool story that could well still be canon. We don't know much about Maul's early life or even much of his life at all under Sidious. Really, really cool. It does have Plagueis in it as well as a little cameo. The banking clan are undertaking an audit of this prison because, that's what people like to read about. Financial audits. There's enough fighting to keep you going through it. I have also started Low Red Moon, but again, I've just gone onto Audible to see where I'm at, and it's reset me. So I don't know what is going on. Audible, can you sort your app out, please? It's very, very annoying. It's a 14, 15 hour book, and I think I had about 4 hours left. So I'm going to say I'm about two-thirds of the way through because let's face it, I'm probably going to have to end up listening to at least half hour, 45 minutes of it again. But that's okay because, again, really good book. Really good book. It's centers around a person who is elevated to CEO of their family business just at the point, literally as he's giving his first speech as CEO. They are all arrested. They're friends of Palpatine, and they're all arrested, probably on the orders of Palpatine. Haven't got there yet. And we leap forward years and years. The family is rather unceremoniously taken out at their prison moon. Like they're held on a moon. They're all together, and yeah, they're kind of all taken out except for this one character who kind of becomes a little bit of a bounty hunter, a little bit of a fixer man, and has his droid with him that is the same assassin droid that took out his family, who he kind of managed to stop killing him and reprogram him well enough to kind of become buddies with him. And I think there's about 9 years have happened since that incident, and they're still together. The droid, we keep going inside the droid's head, which is pretty cool. He's trying to figure out a way around his programming, which is slightly ominous. It's a good book. It's a good book. Collectible side of things, not much to be honest. There's been a lot of deals being made, but nothing has arrived from those deals as of yet. I did pick up new folders for my hyperspace variants for my Star Wars Unlimited cards. I now have a folder for every set up to and including Legends of the Force. So that's Spark of Rebellion, Shadows of the Galaxy, Twilight of the Republic, Jump to Lightspeed, and Legends of the Force. That is now done. They are not full. Closest I've got is Legends of the Force, which I think I'm only about 30 cards away from on the hyperspace variants. The rest of them, I'll sort them out over the next coming months. But I'm gearing up for the A Lawless Time pre-release, booked in for my pre-release event, which will be on the 10th of March, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be over at Ashdown Gaming in Crowborough again. I went and did a store showdown there this month and came fourth, which I was really, really pleased about. That meant I got a top 8 and a top 4 Queen Amidala store showdown promo card. But the deals I've done recently is I've done quite a bit of trading and buying various different cards, including the main bulk of what I need now to finish off Secrets of Power. I think I only need 3 cards, being Bhutan Pala, Blue Ace, and Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle. So there's 2 legendaries and a rare. Blue Ace being the rare, the other 2 are legendaries. And I will get them. I will get them. I will finish off that set. It might not be before a Lawless Time comes out though. But I have also done a deal recently for a Droid 2025 Droid Convention pack, which I'm really, really excited about. Really, really excited to get my hands on that. And it will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. Don't worry about that. And I will do the unboxing and I will need to figure out a way to display them. I do have inadvertently a top loader binder, which I bought for my intro to Hoth cards and then realized it was a top loader binder. So they're kind of rattling around in their rather large holders at the moment because they're not in top loaders. So I might use that for promos and things like that. We'll see. We'll figure it out. There will be a YouTube video on it coming. So keep an eye out for that. While you're over there, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. Leave some comments on videos if you like them. Thank you. TV wise, I have started a Maul centric Rebels rewatch. So I started with Twilight the Apprentice, which is the season 2 finale, and I am 3 or 4 episodes into season 3 at the moment. I watched 3 episodes when I decided to first do this. I watched both episodes of Twilight the Apprentice in the first episode of season 3. I couldn't believe how much was happening in 3 episodes. And it really highlighted to me just how good Rebels is. So obviously jumping in at Twilight the Apprentice, you don't get any of the preamble story. They've been given a message by Yoda to go to Malachor 5. They go to Malachor 5. That's the beginning part of Twilight the Apprentice. There they meet Maul. They then, alongside Maul, face off with Inquisitors. They take out the Inquisitors. So I think, as far as Rebels is concerned, there's no more Inquisitors in Rebels. You then get the one of the most dramatic and most Anakin entrances of Darth Vader. Think in Star Wars at this point in time. It rivals shutting off your own life support machine to have a cool entrance in Rogue One, where he comes down standing on top of his TIE fighter, controlling it with the Force. The man is so extra, it's brilliant. We then have the Vader and Ahsoka battle and the apparent death of Ahsoka following that. And that leads us into season 3. That is a whistle stop tour of Twilight the Apprentice. Go and watch it. It's 40 minutes. It's brilliant. The beginning of season 3, really, really weird one, because we're at Chopper Base on the planet that I can't remember the name of. We're introduced to Bendu pretty much straight off the bat. Kanan meets Bendu, who is voiced, I want to say, by Tom Baker, who is one of the Doctors from Doctor Who. An absolutely iconic voice from British TV history. Brilliant. I love Bendu. He is a neutral force user who is just cool. He's a giant rock dude. He's just really cool. I love Bendu. We also get Hondo. So we've got 2 stories running concurrently in season 3. We've got Ezra leading missions. The mission we are first introduced to is him breaking out Hondo. We then have Kanan having a little bit of a crisis of faith because he's lost his sight in Twilight the Apprentice. We get him meeting Bendu and kind of coming to terms with it and coming to peace with it and interacting with some horrifically large spiders. It's just brilliant. I can't say enough good things about Rebels in general. But the end of season two into season three, fantastic. It's just brilliant. We've got potentially a dark Ezra. That's pretty cool. We've got Zeb, we got Chop, we got Hera, we got Kanan, we got Sabine. It's all just brilliant. It's just brilliant. Movies wise, Mando and Grogu trailer. Already talked about that. Go watch it. Go get the hype train going for that movie. Out in the end of May. I don't really have anything else to say about it. So let's turn our attention to what you guys have been up to in Star Wars recently. We're going to start this time with Brian V. Klein, who has sent us a couple of voice notes this time round.
All right, my update is I've been starting a complete reread of the Marvel comics since the Disney takeover, doing it in chronological order. So I'm pretty much done now with phase one of the High Republic. Started with phase two, obviously phase one. Finished my Rebels rewatch. I'm almost done with my Clone Wars rewatch. I'm 6 episodes into my Mando rewatch. And just collected some vintage collection stuff. Decided I'm going to stop collecting the Black Series, and got some of those cool Asian-inspired impressions Funko Pops. Oh, and also been playing Outlaws, and I'm stuck on this Imperial base on like an asteroid thingy where I'm supposed to sneak around in order to do something. And I've been doing it for about 2 hours, and I always get right to the point where I need to, and you put in the slicer thing, and you got to, I don't know if you play it or not, but you got to do it within the rhythm of you got to hit the buttons in the rhythm of like the bumping, like boom, 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 boom. And by the time I'm doing that, someone comes up behind me and shoots me, and then I can't do it, and I die. So I have to look at YouTube.
Thank you, Brian. Had to do a little bit of editing there at the end, but thank you. Sorry, Outlaws is getting a little bit frustrating for you, but very, very cool update. You are rewatching everything at the moment and rereading comics in chronological order. That's an insane mountain to climb. Phase two done. The High Republic. Phase one ongoing, or just about done. I will say, phase one, High Republic. I still say is up in certainly top five, if not even top three, for me in terms of comic runs in Star Wars. It's that good. I loved it. Todd Sedlak, me and him are in communication, everyone. We are in communication about when we're sorting out a date to re record our Vortex review. That will hopefully be coming soon. But in the meantime, Todd has read the sequel trilogy novels. He has read Star Wars 2025, issue number 10. As said, from a comic run finale, it was underwhelming, much like the entire run. That's not a brilliant endorsement, but probably fair. Todd, you're pretty good, especially with OT stuff. I trust you on that. I'll give it a read at some point, I'm sure. Read Jar Jar Binks number one was okay, but the writers are giving Jar Jar too much intelligence, I think. Well, he speaks. Galaxy Heroes, still grinding through the lead up to Galactic Legend Luke, currently working on Han's Millennium Falcon, and he's got Sith Eternal Emperor to Relic 10. Now that's as far as you can take a character in the game at the moment. Relic 10 has only recently come out. Sith Eternal Emperor Relic 10 terrifies me. Mine is Relic 7. All of my GLs are Relic 7. I do need to start bumping them up. But yeah, Luke is really good in the right scenario, but what you build to get him is also really good. So it's not just a bunch of random characters. You need Jedi Knight Luke, who is phenomenal. You can do a team of Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke, and Hermit Yoda. Brilliant. Fantastic team. Doesn't get the love he deserves, in my opinion. So Haley's messaged me saying she's read Annihilation from Legends. Billy D's memoir, What Have We Here, listened to Outlaws Low Red Moon on audiobook, and has read the Legacy of Vader comic issue number 12. Fantastic. Let me know what you're thinking of Legacy of Vader, Haley. I've enjoyed it so far, but I think I said in my last episode of the podcast, I've enjoyed it more because of the Vader slant rather than the Kylo slant. I'm not a Kylo guy, but we are where we are. And we have some new people providing us feedback. And this is from the Starlight Alliance Discord channel, which I'll link in the description of this podcast. This is a Discord which has come about from Charlie Learns Star Wars, who has been a guest on the podcast a couple of months ago. And she is running a very, very good TikTok channel where she is exploring and learning all about Star Wars. Now, she has her own Discord server, which I am a part of. It's a very fun place. We have a pretty much a channel for everything in terms of Star Wars stuff. So our first feedback from the Discord is from Miles the Knight. They have said Star Wars Unlimited TCG. I'd highly recommend it. It's easy to play and it got me back into Star Wars. When I inquired a little bit further, asking about what sets they've been playing recently and have they found any favourite cards that they really like, and their answer was sentimental over the Ahsoka and General Grievous set I was given last week. The generosity of the person that ran that game made me feel welcomed into the group. For that, it'll always be special. Ahsoka Tano is a character who means a lot to me, so my Ahsoka cards I love, which is absolutely fantastic to hear, Miles. I'm really, really pleased that you have found Star Wars Unlimited and found it really welcoming. I have found overall that the game is hugely welcoming to new players to TCGs, as well as existing other TCG people converting over to give Star Wars Unlimited a try. It does seem to be like a really easy to pick up game, and I'm really, really pleased that you are a member of the community. So, welcome to Star Wars Unlimited. We have some feedback from Dark Warrior, who has said, I'm working on getting Platinum and Star Wars games on PS5. Done Battlefront 2, Fallen Order, The Clone Wars, Demolition, working on Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, then Lego Skywalker Saga. Outlaws and Survivor are on the radar. Also, 17 cards from having the base set for Spark of Rebellion. Now, Dark Warrior also followed it up with a DM to me, which anyone is welcome to message me. First off, he was seeing if I had any of the outstanding cards he needs for Spark of Rebellion. Unfortunately, in this instance, I wasn't able to help. Spark of Rebellion is probably the set I have the least amount of cards from. I really was struggling to get the product because it was so well received in the first set. And I completed the base set and just kind of moved on to Shadows of the Galaxy. But if anyone is looking for any cards from any of the sets, drop me a DM. I'll have a look through my bulk and my dupes, and I will be able to sort something out with you. No problem at all. And he also added that he wanted to say something about the Discord from Charlie Learns Star Wars, Starlight Alliance. And he said, so for my take on it, it's been a wonderful place for me to come and meet all different people from different backgrounds who all have something in common. I want to share their love of Star Wars in a positive, safe space. I also think it's helped and people have found friends. Like, I followed you on TikTok, but before the Discord, would we have messaged in the same way? Just a random idea I had while sorting cards. Dark Warrior, thank you. That's I'm sure Charlie will send her thanks as well. That means a lot that we are creating. I say we. I'm not. Charlie has created a safe space in Star Wars for people to just be themselves without fear of gatekeeping or ridicule. And that is really something I think the majority of Star Wars podcasts and content creators out there strive for. And I think we've just hit a really sweet spot for us in the Starlight Alliance. I think it's a fantastic Discord channel, and huge thanks to Charlie for taking the plunge and setting it up. And speaking of Charlie, who has finished season one of Andor and has just started season two. This is a first watch through, I believe. Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong. She's read Brotherhood by, I believe, Mike Chen, which is a fantastic book. So, Charlie, let me know what you thought of that. High Republic books in general. She's slowly working her way through those. Star Wars Unlimited, obviously. Go and check out her TikTok. It's absolutely fantastic. Again, I will link it below. I think the last month also includes watching the original trilogy. And she also got a lightsaber. So, you know, nothing major. But then obviously had to follow it up with whose lightsaber she got. And she got Rey's, which I have a 3D printed version of Rey's lightsaber, which I absolutely adore. It's such a cool, like, rustic. Is that the right word for it? It doesn't look like a lightsaber. It doesn't look like it should work as a lightsaber, but it does. And it's got a yellow blade, and it's awesome. I think it's the first yellow bladed lightsaber we've seen in live action. To me, that's cool. I love it. I love Rey's lightsaber. She also got a custom one tattooed on her. So she's gone from not knowing a lot about Star Wars to getting a Star Wars tattoo. Very, very cool. And there was also Festival of the Force recently, which she went to as well, which had, by the looks of your TikTok, Charlie, you had an absolute blast. So absolutely fantastic. I forgot to put out a tweet for everyone else, so apologies. If you want to drop me a tweet or an email or anything like that, get in contact with me. All the notes are in the show notes. But for ease, on Twitter at Star Wars UPod, on Instagram Star Wars Universe, TikTok Star Wars Universe, YouTube Star Wars Universe, and email is starwarsupod@gmail.com. That's going to do it for me from this month. Hopefully, I'll be back in a couple of weeks with Vortex if mine and Todd's diaries can align, and if not, I may have someone else. We'll see what happens. We'll see how schedules work. But as I say, that's going to do it for me this month. So until next time, may the force be with you always.